Hello and welcome to Oregon Yesteryear. People who work in local government, like me, often find it difficult to comply with increasingly irrelevant and unnecessary policy demands that come out of Salem. We tend to feel like it would be great if the legislature at least asked us first if they ought to force us to do something in a city hall or a special district headquarters or at a school board meeting. Well, there was one occasion in 1983 when the legislature had an idea, and they asked local governments nicely if it should move forward. During a special session of the Oregon Legislature in 1983, legislators passed Senate Joint Resolution 30. SJR 30 was a proposed amendment to the Oregon State Constitution with two main parts. Part 1 proposed stripping away a lot of autonomy that local governments had and putting more centralized authority over community decisions in the hands of lawmakers and government officials in Salem. Part 2 then proposed a statewide sales tax with 100% of the proceeds going to local governments. That would have been a tiny consolation prize for cities losing home rule to a government regime in Salem that can be difficult to predict but usually trends toward depriving localities of their autonomy. The constitutional amendment referral to the voters had a catch in it, though. The measure could only be put before voters if a majority of cities, counties, school districts, and community college districts in the state of Oregon voted to request the constitutional amendment be put before voters after a public hearing. The constitutional amendment had to make it onto the ballot to be voted on in March or May of 1984. The Oregon Secretary of State has no record of a statewide ballot measure being voted on in March 1983. I can find no record of the measure being on the ballot during the May 1984 primary after looking at records of election results posted by the Oregon Secretary of State, as well as an election pamphlet published by the Marion County Clerk's Office for that election. In fact, I can find only two records of local governments that decided to vote in favor of having this measure on the ballot at all: the city of Wilsonville and the city of Elgin. In 1985, the legislature tried to refer a sales tax to voters again. This one, though, would only fund local education throughout the state with that sales tax revenue. The new sales tax lost on the ballot in every single county, and ultimately, 77% of voters rejected it. During the 2025 legislative session, there was an effort to require an equal amount of signatures be submitted for statewide ballot measures from across all of Oregon's 6 congressional districts. However, this measure did not pass the legislature. Still, it is nice to look back on the Reagan era of optimism in America and fondly recall the year the legislature asked nicely.